As I always say, and I'll continue to always say this. When it comes to horror films, I don't mind giving my reviews and takes of older movies because horror movies, the horror genre, does not get as much love and attention as a lot of other genres. So a lot of these movies that I've discussed in my show are essentially forgotten about. But that's why people like me are here to talk about them. And I'm not going to say that they're all that great, but for the ones that are great or even good, I'll talk about it, give my review. I'll tell others to watch it, or I'll suggest it. This movie is available to watch on Tubi. So it's free on Tubi, Pluto, Roku channel, Vudu, and Plex. So you can watch it any of those 5 for free. It says you can rent it on YouTube for $3, but if you can watch it free on 5 other sources, just go with that. More convenient, easier. So here's a couple different ways to break down the synopsis of it. Here we go. Jason Isaacs, Mira Sorvino, and India Isley star in the intense voyeuristic thriller about an alienated high school student who switches places with her sinister mirror image and unleashes secret desires and her darkest dreams. Let's see how they put it here. From Internet Movie Database. Maria, an alienated high school student, has her life turned upside down when she switches places with her sinister mirror image. Now, let's look at the reviews. Let's see what they got going on here. Rotten Tomatoes, again, has an unsurprising and totally non-shocking grade percentage, which is only 17. Internet Movie Database, a little bit nicer, gave it a 58. And Phoenix Gaming gave it a 70. Among Google users, we see an average of 70%. And I got to be honest, that's probably a little bit higher than what I was expecting from them or what I thought. I thought at best they were probably going to give it 50 to 55, maybe possibly close to 60 at most. Now, let me see if I can skim through this just a little bit before I go into any real deep spoilers here, just before I don't. Okay. One person named James gave this I don't see what number he gave this one. I don't know why they're not showing that part for some reason. He says, I didn't mind this film, although it's not one I'm going to watch again. It takes its sweet time going anywhere, and even when it gets there, it takes its sweet time doing anything about it. There are cliche characters such as the high school bully of little depth, who seems to get away with being jerkish at all opportunities with no consequence. Where are the teachers or other faculty to watch these kids? The whole film, from the start, begs the question if any of the mirror universe was actually real or just the musings of a psychotically disturbed young woman. A woman whose real twin died in childbirth has been mentally beaten down by her mother and perfectionist father. Someone who was weak and pushed by her social anxieties into a new schizophrenic persona that is more willing to act out her true desires to enact revenge. It's almost as if this film is about a female Patrick Bateman, but less gory. It's decently directed, acted, and one of the better offerings on Netflix. It's not on Netflix anymore now, it's on Tubi. But I get what this person is saying. However, it's very slow paced, making it feel longer than it actually is. Watch it once for India Isley's performance and be done with it. This other person here says, one of the best movies of all time. It's a real psychological thriller. Just watch it. I can just say I loved her twin, or Aram. Deep down, it makes you understand that you can change your personality. It's not so hard. You can be vulnerable. You can be vulnerably honest and live the life you want. It's odd. But from childhood, I also take advice from my own mirror image. And she gives the best advice. Same way, both are the same. Maria opposite Aram. And she just decides to change mentally to her much confident and charismatic twin, i.e. mirror image. Or maybe she actually has a twin who is spirit and stayed on the parallel universe or world, and Maria found her one day, and they changed places forever, and now Maria comes as a spirit to the real world, i.e., at last, you will see with her mother. The movie was brilliant for so many reasons. Most people will just see a cliche thriller about teen sexual confusion, but it was really deep when you consider how many women grow up without fathers, even men and children in an unloving home that don't feel like anyone truly cares about them. Never having a sense of belonging or being good enough to be happy in the eyes of others. Then consider how Hollywood and popular opinion determines what beauty is and who's considered beautiful: skin color, weight, height, hair, texture, and a lot of people suffer their entire lives trying to convince themselves that they are good enough or deserve happiness. I enjoyed this film. The story aside, the acting, in my opinion, was phenomenal. So those are some of the reviews there. And this movie, I might actually give it a 7 or 8. Now, I agree with the part where it says part of it was slow pacing, but I think it was a good build up. And I think the ending was a little bit interesting, to say the least. Nothing too crazy, but interesting. I won't spoil it. But this is another movie that I suggest you all check out. Again, it's free to watch on Vudu, Roku, Pluto, Plex, and Tubi. So one of the purposes of me talking about movies like this, and sometimes I may not go into too much depth because I just feel like, hey, I'm really connected with my other horror fans, and we often talk about, movies that are not even just the popular slashers like the Halloweens in them, but also low-budget independent films that I feel also deserve some attention, and I will suggest it if I like it. Now, this movie was... Let me check the budget and box office. The box office on this movie was only $1.1 million. There's no telling what the budget was. So I don't see that part here. Oh, wait. It says the estimated budget was probably around $18 million. And now it says gross worldwide $6 million. Okay. If that's the case, then they lost a lot of money. Now, on Wikipedia, it says the box office was $1 million. So if the budget really was $18 million and the box office was only $1 million, that means they lost $17 million. Tragic. Which is not uncommon for horror films. I mean, it's really not, sad to say. But now The Flash and Wonder Woman got a little bit of a taste of that. But hey, I don't hope any of them fail. I mean, every movie, every company wants to succeed. So, I mean, it happens, unfortunately. Now, even if they got $6 million at the box office, that means they lost $12 million at the box office. But none of them really want to lose any money. I digress a little bit. But I suggest check out the movie. I'll put the trailer below. So you check it out and you let me know what you think.